Hey everyone, and thank you for stopping by, chatting with me with Travel with Patrice Travel Agency. I recently went to Dubai, and I just wanted to share with you some of my updates with Dubai and Abu Dhabi and provide you some tips that you can possibly use should you decide to travel. So, the trip was titled 8 Day Classic Dubai Abu Dhabi. And it was actually 6 nights because you're using some of the nights to travel, there and back. So we have 4 nights, stay in Dubai and 2 nights in Abu Dhabi. My package included the hotel taxes and fees, all transfers to and from the airport, 11 meals, which includes 6 breakfasts, 3 lunches, and 2 dinners. It included our sightseeing, which we were transported on an air-conditioned motor coach bus. We had a English-speaking tour manager named Rami, who was fantastic. It included all of our entrance fees, and um, if you needed the headphones, they would give it to you, but we didn't have to have the headphones. So here are some of the special features. During the city tour in Dubai, we will visit the man-made Palm Island and Dubai's signature landmark, Burj Al Arab. We stopped at specialty um, meeting places where we had lunch prepared for us, and we went to the Sheikh Mohammed Center for Cultural Understanding. We went to the Burj Khalifa, which is the tallest building in the world. We also did a city tour of Abu Dhabi, which included the visits to the Louvre Abu Dhabi Museum. And we visited the Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque, which is a masterpiece for modern Islamic architecture. So you have to ask yourself, is this the right trip for you? So first of all, the trip is jam-packed with activities when you first start out. Expect 2 to 3 hours of walking on some of your days. The pace is moderate. However, you may encounter some uneven surfaces with stairs up and down. Expect the longest time on the bus will be 2 hours to drive from Dubai to Abu Dhabi. And I was told that the weather is very pleasant during the months of October through April, but it could get a little cooler in the evening. So when we first got there, it was early, so we were able to wear my little puffer jacket, maybe the first part of the day because it was a little cooler. And when you're out in the desert at night, you may get a little cooler. So just wear like a light jacket, if you tend to get cold. And if you wanted to provide add in an optional tour for the desert safari, you could do that as well. So let's talk about COVID protocols and departures and arrival. So every guest, 12 and older, must be vaccinated and show a negative COVID test, taken no more than 2 days before departure. So you may want to check with your airline and check with their protocols because every airline and country is different. I had a 2 hour layover in London, but the airport was massive. So there was a lot of maneuvering and trains and walking and transfers back and forth to the airport. So again, if we have challenges, this may or may not be the right choice for you. When we arrived in Dubai, we were unaware that we had to take a COVID test once we got off the plane. So we had a COVID test prior to leaving, but I guess that was the understanding between Dubai and London that every passenger traveling through there, even if it was just a layover, had to take a COVID test. So we actually stayed at 2 hotels, which is also part of our package, one in Dubai and one in Abu Dhabi. So the one on the right is the hotel where we stayed in Dubai. And they say that it is a 4-star hotel on their website. And it wasn't a bad place to stay, but I think the rooms could use a little update. It was located in an ideal area right off the riverfront near shops. It was in proximity of everything, but I just think the rooms could have used a little updating. They had a restaurant on site and they had a lot of space outside with like fire pits and everything where you can sit and eat and have drinks at night. But the breakfast, they literally serve the same breakfast every day. And so after a while, you kind of get tired of it. On the right is Park Ratana, which is in Abu Dhabi. That is a five-star hotel. I love this hotel. I wish we could have stayed at this hotel the entire time. So this hotel had a hotel spa, a fitness center, a sauna, a tennis court, outdoor pool, which was heated. They had a restaurant on site next door that served Thai, Indian, Chinese, Japanese, and Italian cuisine. But they had another restaurant also, which was the hotel restaurant, and they had a great selection of foods, including their breakfast. So everything was different per day. So I really like that about that hotel. So again, you hit the ground running. Day one and two, you're really traveling either from Chicago and then back to Dubai. And keep in mind that the United Emirates is 10 hours ahead of Chicago. So there's a lot of jet lag. So my daughter kept telling me that I was running into her because I was just off balance. And actuality, we were running into each other because we were both off. So it's a lot of traveling. So we left Chicago on a Friday at probably about 4 in the afternoon. And we didn't get to London until 10 o'clock that morning, which was Saturday morning. And then we didn't arrive into Dubai until 11:50 Saturday evening. So right there, you're already thrown off. So you have to take in consideration that this will happen. So here we are at day three, because remember, day one and two is traveling. So when we arrived at the hotel, we were instructed by our tour manager, Rami, of our meeting time, which was at 8:45. And I said, like this morning? And he was like, yeah, I need you to meet me at 8:45. Now at this point, it's 2 a.m. So there was not much time to sleep. So on this day, we began out with a photo stop at Dubai's signature landmark, the Burj Al Arab, the celebrated cell-shaped hotel facing the Persian Gulf. And if you could look at the picture at the bottom right, there's the hotel behind me. We continued to the Jumeirah Palm, a man-made island, which was built in the shape of a palm tree, which is the picture upright. Um, yeah. So we made our way to Atlantis, which is on the left, for a photo shop, and we did a little shopping there. And then we went over to the Burj Khalifa, which is the tallest building in the world. And we rode the elevator to 126th floor, which is less than a minute. And then if you want to get to 127th floor, you just have to walk up just a short flight of stairs. So here we had time to just take pictures, and we had a little time at leisure. So we were able to go inside the mall, which is the Dubai Mall, and we can do shopping and we can eat and, do whatever you wanted to. But this is your time of leisure. And then after this, we either had the opportunity to go on with the tour or stay in the mall and then find our way back to the hotel, which is exactly what we did. So with this day, our breakfast and dinner was served, and it was part of our package. And so behind me on the left, there's actually an aquarium, which is also inside the mall. And yes, they have a roller rink inside the mall. So this mall had about 1,200 stores. And the stores consist of like a lot of designer stores, but there were probably maybe five or six of the same store of one brand. So you may have had like a Gucci kids, a Gucci women, a Gucci men's, a Gucci bags, a Gucci shoes. And so it was like five or six stores of the same brand. So that's why this mall consists of 1,200 stores. And yes, I found a Garrett's. So I didn't buy any popcorn, but I just was like, hey, there's a Garrett's. So I go up to the guy behind the counter and I say, where do you all make the popcorn here? He said, no, we get it from Chicago. So I just thought that was just hilarious that they don't make it there, but they have it shipped over there. So on this day, we were able to take a tour of the old city and visit the Dubai Museum and the Al Fahidi Fort, which was survived for 2 centuries. We continued through here through a clothes market where we took a local water taxi across the creek, and we visited like the area spices and gold soup. And this is where we are at day four. So here is where we stopped at the Shaikh Mohammed Center, and we had a specially arranged local Emiratis lunch and a meeting. We enjoyed an optional discussion and learned about the Emirati culture and local traditions. I thought the food was delicious, and the Q&A sessions was very informative. And here is some of the food and our tour guide. And that's me and my daughter. My daughter's on the right. We saw this guy walking through. I guess he's one of the workers there, and we said, "Hey, can I take a picture with you?" He said, "Sure." And so yeah, they were just super nice. I could have asked for a better time. And so we ended our tour at the Al Arsa Souk, where we find traditional merchandise, including jewelry and spices and teas. And I did buy some teas, and I bought some eucalyptus crystals, where you put them in the water, and it helps with like congestion. So since I deal with sinus issues, that was very helpful. So I was able to buy that and bring that back home. And on this day, breakfast and lunch was served as part of our package, but we were on our own for dinner. So now we're at day 5. So during the morning, we enjoyed a day of leisure, but in the afternoon, we started off in a 4x4 vehicle towards the highest sand dunes in the desert. Later, we would arrive in the Bowden campsite, where we were welcomed with traditional Arabic coffee and rolled camels. And then we were served a barbecue dinner and enjoyed a dance show with belly dancers. During this time at the site, we were able to have time to take pictures with the camels, ride the camels, clown around. I had the opportunity to hold a hawk, get henna tattoos, and purchase souvenirs. And this was probably the best highlights of my trip. And all of this was included in the package and no extra surprises. And breakfast and dinner was included in this package. So now we are headed to day 6. So on this day, we traveled to Al Ain, the garden city of the UAE, and one of the oldest settlements. We started the day by visiting the National Museum, which houses artifacts of ancient times that were discovered in and around the city. So after lunch at a local restaurant, we visited the Sheikh Zayed Palace Museum, the residence of Sheikh Zayed and his family between 1937 and 1966. And after this day, we arrived at the hotel for a farewell dinner. So now we're at day 7. We started off this day with a city tour of the capital of the United Arab in Abu Dhabi. And then we started our tour at the Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque. We made stops at other, culture centers during that time. But inside the mosque, it was gorgeous. I mean, it was all this beautiful marble and Swarovski crystals. And I was told that this is a still an active mosque and about 50,000 can worship at one time. And so again, ladies, you have to be respectful to their culture. So me and my daughter was walking in and we had on those dresses that we bought from Amazon prior to arriving. And we didn't realize that the dresses didn't have sleeves. So we had to stop at the market and get sleeves. And then we had to have them, long. So but our dresses were sheer and we had um underlining underneath the sheer part of the dress. But when my daughter, her leg was still showing, so they escorted her out of the line and asked her to either go change or she was not able to get in. So luckily, we had brought in with us some leggings, and we were able to put those on, and they let us through, and we were able to go through and continue the tour. And here is where we stopped at the Zayed house, where we were able to get a sneak peek of the late Shaikh Zayed, the father of the nation, and what he did for the country. And so the evening was at our leisure, and then the time came where it was time to get back to reality. And breakfast and lunch came with our package here. Now, here is where we stopped on the way before we ended our tour at one of the hotels to have lunch. And the picture on the right, if you've ever seen the Fast and Furious movies, remember the movie where they were supposed to have driven the car through the buildings they jumped through? So this was where they actually took place, but it was AGI. But this is the hotel in Abu Dhabi where it took place. And then we ended our tour at the Louvre Museum in Abu Dhabi, and it was gorgeous. The ceiling is like this dome, and it have all these little holes in it, so you can, it was light everywhere. So even at night, I'm sure it was gorgeous, but we were there during the daytime. and my package also included the museum, so there was no hidden fees. So the picture on the right is my girlfriend and my daughter. And we're just out there because we finished the museum early. And so we had to wait till everybody else come out of the museum. So when we came out, there was a little guide outside, and he was like, "Hey, you want to do a tour of the grounds?" And we were like, "No, we're okay." And he was like, "It's free, I don't mind." So we was like, "Okay, let's go ahead and do it. We're still waiting for people to come out. Why not?" And what we're doing, we're sitting here like laughing and killing ourselves because he just like, "Give me your camera." And he's sitting here. So we're like posing for him. So he was like a paparazzi and we were just loving it. And it just got to a point where he was taking like 20 pictures of one shot. And it's like, what is he doing? But it was just so funny. But he was just the cutest little guy. And he was just like, "Okay, get back in. We're going to go on inside and take another picture." And so it was just funny. He had us cracking up. But, he took a lot of nice pictures of us. So here are some of the stores inside the mall. Again, they were all high-end stores. They were all massive stores. And so the size that you're seeing is not over embellished. Those are the size of the stores. So on our leisure time, we were able to do whatever we wanted. So me and my daughter decided to go to Ski Dubai, and we chose I guess, the unlimited day pass. So we did the snow park access, the Zurich Ball, the chairlift, the penguin encounter. Um, we even did zip lining through through the place, and it included our gloves and our outfit rental. And so, we were happy with that. So on the left, this is how I started out with short songs standing in front of Ski Dubai. And the one on the right is the outfit that I put on to go inside. So the temperature was like -7 inside the ski part. And then when you go to interact with the penguins, it was -3. So it was very cold. And so I wish they would have given us hats, but they didn't. They gave us socks and boots, pants, jackets, and gloves, but no hats. So unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to take pictures with the penguins because they wouldn't allow us to bring our phones inside because they said it was a distraction to the penguins. But the bottom line was they just wanted us to, take they wanted to take the pictures and then have us buy the very expensive package, which we did not. I mean, it was overpriced for those pictures. So we did do the interaction with the penguins. We just don't have any pictures to show for it. On the left is me and my daughter having a snowball fight. And yes, it was real snow. It was cold. And the glass partition walls is actually the Cheesecake Factory. So after we, finished there, we went to the Cheesecake Factory. And there's the Zurich ball and the bobsled that we did. So that was a lot of fun. And the Zurich ball is pretty much you're inside this ball rolling to the bottom of the hill. And there's the Cheesecake Factory. And so after we left there, we decided to go to Ski Dubai. I had went to a expo here in Chicago, and I met a vendor from Dubai, and she said, if you're ever in Dubai around this time and that time, you should actually go to the Dubai. It happens every 5 years and a different country hosts it, and so you have to go. But since it didn't happen in 2020 due to the pandemic, and they had printed everything, they just left it at 2020. So it was still called Dubai Expo 2020. And so what you do there, you go in and there's 128 countries there. And they all have their own pavilion. And their pavilions was probably the size of IKEA. They were huge. And so you would go in and you would buy this $5 passport and you would go to each vendor or country and get your passport stamped. So out of the 128, we only was able to get 27. And we were there from like 3 o'clock to 10 o'clock that night. And so, mind you, we had just left having this fun time at Ski Dubai, and then we get on the train and pay $2 and go to the Dubai Expo. And so we was exhausted by the end of the day, but we had a great time, and I don't regret doing this. So here's some of the places that we visited, and as you can see, I have my passport, excuse me, in my hand. And you go into these different countries, and you can look at their artifacts. They have literature that you can take with you. They have people that you could talk to about the country. They had items that they were selling. So it was just a good time. And yes, we visited the USA Pavilion. They had SpaceX there. They had Kamala Harris speaking at the beginning on the monitor. They had MLK statue. They had the Statue of Liberty statue. So it was just so much to all that. And they had stuff about space and what we create here, things about Springfield and the Capitol. So it was a lot. I remember going into the one for Switzerland, and inside of Switzerland it was like you're walking into the Swiss Alps. It was foggy and it was rainy, it was dark. And so it was just a great time. I mean, China had a great expo there. It was just so much to do. And I just do not, regret doing this on my free time. So let me just go over some tips and suggestions for you. So make sure if you're traveling to Dubai to check with the airline for their updates on COVID in the country because things can change. So you should just check up until the day that you're leaving. Make sure to download any apps from the airlines or the country asks you to. So I was on American Airline and they asked me to download an iFly app. And with that app, you're able to load your passport information, your COVID test, or your vaccination status inside of this app. And so when you get to the airport, it's just easy for you to just say, hey, here's my information, and they let you through. There is no, additional checks because the system has already cleared you. Take pictures of your passports because you may have to show this at stores in order to get the VAT tax return, the VAT, the VAT tax return to you when you depart from the airport. Take a picture of your COVID card and negative COVID test. As some of the facilities you visit, like the museums, may ask you to show them. So instead of you carrying your actual documents around, just take a picture of them, and that is acceptable. Bring a credit card with no foreign transaction fees because it's easier to just do it. I mean, you can do a money exchange, but for me, I was getting points on my credit card, so I was able to just, use that card that had no foreign transaction fees. And just remember, when you use the credit card machine over there, select AED and not USD. It's kind of tricky, but by selecting AED, you're not getting hit with two conversion fees. When visiting, excuse me, when visiting the market, it's all about negotiating prices. So, don't let them haggle you, you haggle them. And make sure the price that you're actually paying is what they actually put on the credit card. So again, they're going to put the credit card amount in AED. So make sure you have your converter so you can, translate what it is before you swipe your card. Make sure you have plenty of storage on your phone or your memory card because you're going to take a lot of pictures. Ladies, when you visit the mosque, make sure that you're covered up. So bring a scarf to cover your hair, long pants or a dress. And the guys, I think you just have to have long pants on. But just be wary of their tradition and respect their culture because they will not allow you in there. After you leave the mosque, don't stop at the first store. That was my mistake. I stopped at the first store, which is part of the mosque. So there's more expensive items there. Make your way back to the common area where you can get deals because they have local vendors there. And also try the camel milk soap. It makes my skin feel really soft. And if possible, use Wi-Fi wherever you can in the mall, in the hotel, at the market, because it would allow you to keep track or keep in touch with your friends that you're there with. I remember we were at the market and we kind of separated. So luckily we were able to do the Wi-Fi and I was able to text or call to find out where they were at. Bring comfortable walking shoes because you're going to need them. My girlfriend did not have comfortable walking shoes, and we had to go to the mall and she's going to get another pair of shoes. So just be wary of that. Bring plenty of masks in the event your face sweat or get covered in sand. Go to Ski Dubai, but I must warn you, the picture packages are very costly if you do the interaction with the penguins. So if you really want them, buy them. But I thought they was just too expensive, so I left them there. They do have American restaurants like KFC, Starbucks, or Domino's Pizza. So don't worry if you don't feel comfortable with their food selections because they do have American restaurants. Please note that not all restaurants serve alcohol, so you must ask before purchasing. The menu may have mojitos on there, but they are all non alcoholic. If possible, pay $2 and ride the metro around town or go to Atlantis for a day at the water park. Now, if you don't know what Atlantis is, if you've ever been to the Bahamas or Paradise Island, they have an Atlantis there. So it's the same thing, but it's just massive in Dubai. When using the taxis, make sure that you use the tan color ones and not the ones of other colors because they are like luxury Ubers, which cost you more. Visit this store called Carefor. It's spelled Carrefour. It's like a Walmart, Sam's Club, Costco, and Best Buy all in one. I kid you not. You will thank me later. And lastly, eat at a place called Dukin Burgers, which is near the Canopy Hotel in Dubai. You would not be disappointed. We were jet lagged and were not able to make the first dinner with the group. So we went to sleep and we woke up about 10 p.m. that evening. And we wound up walking down the pier on the waterfront and we found this restaurant. And it was like a Kuwaiti type of restaurant, but the sliders were delicious. They were so moist. And we went back twice, but it was so good, you know. But again, go there, try that, experience the culture, go to Dubai. And if you have any questions, excuse me, and you are thinking about, going down to Dubai and Abu Dhabi for a trip and you want to travel with Gate One Travel or any other vendor, just give me a call and I would be happy to book this for you. So I thank you for spending time with me today. And if you have any questions, again, give me a call, 708-374-8183, or send me a email at travelwpatrice@gmail.com. And you can always visit me on Facebook or book on my website directly. All right, thank you, and looking forward to hearing from you.